right of a workman laid off for compensation. When employer is unable to provide work to his workmen for reasons beyond his control, so he owes a duty to pay the layoff compensation to such workmen that we discussed. Before a workman may claim for layoff compensation, he must fulfill the following condition. I mean, 3 conditions need to be fulfilled before claiming for layoff compensation. That's what I told. His name must born on industrial establishment, and he must completed at least 1 year continuous service. Whether we discuss this?
No, sir.
No, we haven't discussed this. See, uh, one just now I discussed one condition to claim for layoff compensation. That is, of course, like his name must registered at the muster rolls of the industrial establishment. Another condition, I mean, those workmen or that workman, he must completed at least 1 year of continuous service. What exactly the meaning of a continuous service? Continuous service is nothing but uninterrupted service. Uninterrupted service. Uninterrupted service. There may be continuous service. See, under section 25B, of Industrial Dispute Act defines the term continuous service. What exactly the meaning of a continuous service? That section, I mean section 25B classifies continuous service for a 1 year and continuous service for a 6 months. Continuous service for 6 months. This particular section defines continuous service for a 1 year. A particular employee must have worked at least for 12 calendar months. 12 calendar months. And he must work at least for 190 days in case if a workman works in a below the ground in a mine. Below the ground in a mine, mining workers. In any other ordinary case, at least he or she need to work 240 days. If he or she satisfies like these conditions, we can say that a particular employee was in continuous service for 1 year. I repeat, if a employee need to call he completed a 1 year continuous service, it means he need to work at least 12 calendar months and he need to work at least 190 days in this 12 calendar months. Suppose if we work below the ground in a mine and 240 days in a general case, I mean majority of workers fall in this category, 240 days. This 190 days is applicable only to the mining workers. 240 days. The question comes here, there are some cases what is to happen? There are some cases he might have worked for 9 months. But he might have worked for 250 days. Now, whether we should call the particular employee was in a continuous service or not, can you tell me? A employee worked for 9 months and in this 9 months, he fulfilled the criteria of this 240 days. He worked 250 days. Now, can we say that, so whether he was in a continuous service or not? Whether he was in a continuous service?
Sir, no, because you said he's supposed to work 12 calendar months.
Exactly. See, simultaneously need to be satisfied. The two conditions I said, if a workman completed at least 1 year continuous service, it means he need to work 12 calendar months. This is very, very important. Simultaneously, both the provisions need to be satisfied. What is that? Both the provisions, 12 calendar months I said, and the 190 days or 240 days as the case may be. So we can say that if a particular employee worked or completed 12 calendar months service, and in that 12 calendar months, in case at least he had worked 190 days or 240 days, we can say that, as the case may be, we can say that he was in a continuous service for 1 year. When it comes to the 6 months, at least he need to work for 6 calendar months, one condition, 6 calendar months, and 95 days of work. This is 190, exactly half of that, the below the ground in a mine, and 120 days in any general case. I mean, what does it mean? It means if a workman, workman completed at least 6 months of employment, in that 6 months, in case if it worked in a case, suppose 95 days or 120 days as the case may be, we can say that an employee was in a continuous service for 6 months. So that's what this particular section, section 25D classifies continuous service means continuous service for 1 year, continuous service for 6 months. Continuous service for 1 year in the sense 12 calendar months plus 190 days or 240 days as the case may be. 1 year, 6 months continuous service in the sense 6 calendar months. In addition to that, 95 days or 120 days as the case may be. So we can say that employee was in continuous service for 1 year or 6 months. So this is one of the conditions in order to claim for a layoff compensation. So if you have any questions, please ask, or in case if you want to explain it again, I'll explain. This particular continuous service or a definition is very, very important for whole discussion. Not only the Industrial Dispute Act, but also for other the legislations. So any questions, please? So understood, everyone? Yeah, please. Please. Was that? Yeah, please ask. Who's that?
Sir, as you said, it is only continuous 1 year service. I didn't get about the 6 months calendar year service, sir. Can you just explain it?
For our understanding now, 1 year continuous service is important. But for your knowledge, 6 months in the sense, exactly half of that you need to take. There are some legislations may say that, so he was in a 6 months continuous service. Or while calculating the compensation as well, suppose there are some people, they may work for like 6.5 months, something like that. But here, for your understanding, continuous service in the sense, continuous service can be classified under 2 heads. For 1 year and 6 months. 6 months in the sense, suppose if an employee was in a continuous service for 6 months in the sense, he need to work for 6 calendar months, one condition, and 95 days or 120 days, as the case may be. As the case may be in the sense, 95 days applicable to the mining work, say below the ground in a mine, 120 days for a general category. But forget about this. For you, in order to understand this particular section, the very important is 1 year continuous service. 1 year continuous service in the sense, you need to work for 12 calendar months and at the same time the 190 days or 240 days. I said 240 days of uninterrupted service. What do you mean by uninterrupted service? Uninterrupted service, because see, in an employee, he might have availed a leave. Say, for example, he might have applied for a casual leave, or he might have applied for a compensatory leave, or he might have applied for a sick leave, and she might have applied for a maternity leave. Whether these leaves must be included in this 240 days, or it must be excluded, or some of there may be holidays in between, Sundays. Whether it must be included in this 240 days, it must be excluded. No, you can have a guess, that's it.
So excluded?
It must be excluded.
I'm not sure.
It must be included. It must be included because all authorized leave must be included in this 240 days. Suppose if a workman worked for a 240 days, in this 240 days or 12 calendar months, he might have applied for a casual leave of 6 days, say. He might have applied for a compensatory leave of 8 days, say. He might have applied for a sick leave for 3 days. And she might have applied for a maternity leave. I mean, that is a legal right. So there might have been, the holidays in between of, say, for example, 15 days. All these days must be included while calculating 240 days. Please do remember, all these days must be included. All, for your knowledge, all authorized leave must be included. All authorized leave must be included. All unauthorized leave must be excluded from 240 days. So all authorized leave must be included in this 240 days. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Any queries, any questions? Okay. So next condition. So workman must not be a badli or casual workman. Who can be a badli workman? A badli workman is a workman who works on behalf of other. Other in the sense whose name must appears in a master rolls. Suppose if a person name appear in a master roll, let say Sohan. Sohan's name appears in a master rolls. He is a workman. Now, Sohan was unable to appear for the work, and what Sohan did in an industry, in the manufacturing sector, factory sector, these are all things will happen. Sohan might have sent the Ishan. Sohan sent Ishan to do his work, and now Ishan should be called as a badli workman. That's what is this condition says. In order to claim for a layoff compensation, he should not be Ishan, but he must be Sohan. In a sense, a badli workman is not at all eligible to claim for a layoff compensation. That's what the three conditions need to be satisfied. One condition, his name must registered in a master rolls of industrial establishment. As I said, suppose Sohan, his name is registered at master rolls of industrial establishment. Now Sohan is eligible. One condition is satisfied. Another condition, he need to satisfy like continuous service, 1 year of continuous service. Suppose Sohan worked for 240 days in a 12 calendar month. Now again he satisfies second condition. Now third condition, he should not be a badli or casual workman. Once his name is registered at master roll, so now he is not a badli workman. Now Sohan can claim for a layoff compensation. Any doubt in this? Any questions? Everything's clear? Is everything is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, can you tell me like what are the three conditions need to be satisfied in order to claim for the compensation? What are the three conditions should be satisfied?
Sir.
Yeah, please, Saurabh.
So what about casual workmen, sir? Badli or casual workmen, you told, no?
Yeah, I mean badli or casual workman. Here, casual workman in the sense, it's like say I said there are some people casually in the sense. See, there are two types of employment. What I'll give an example. Second, see, have you heard about the contract of service and contract for service? I think like I explained, whether I explained this? Contract of service and contract for service? Whether I discussed this?
No, sir. No, I think.
Badri workman you understood, right?
Yes, sir.
See, contract of service means there is a master-servant relationship. Master-servant relationship. Master-servant relationship in the sense there is a relationship of employer-employee relationship. Master, he commands, he directs the servant. Not only directs, I mean, master says what to be done, not only what to be done, master also says that how to be done. Suppose all now like Mahe, when we are the faculty, we are the contract of service, employees of contract of service. Why? Because Mahe is a master and there is a master-servant relationship. Master-servant relationship, the master can tell us what to do and what not to do and how to do. How to do. And master is having a complete control. Complete control. So all regular employee or part-time employee falls under this category, the contract of service. There is one more, contract for service. I'll give an example, just with an example I explain this. Suppose in your classroom, the AC is not working. AC is not working. Now, Mahe doesn't have any AC mechanic. What Mahe will hire AC mechanic from outside. Suppose Mahe called Abhay, he is a AC mechanic. What is the duty of Abhay? What Abhay will do? Abhay will come to your classroom, I mean the MIM campus. What he'll do? He'll repair the AC. And he just work and he'll walk out. He'll walk out. Is there any master-servant relationship? There is no master-servant relationship. There is no master-servant relationship. What master will do? Master just says what to do, and master doesn't say how to do. How to do? This is nothing but a contract of service. I mean, to put it in a very simple term, independent contractors. Independent contractor. He is of the contract of service. Independent contractor. Whether on independent contractor, whether employer have any control on his work? Employer doesn't have any control on the independent contractor's work. That is nothing but a contract for service. So contract of service and contract for service. Now, Saurabh asked a question, what is a casual workman? So can we say that a contract for service is a casual workman? Absolutely yes. So independent contractor. Casual workman. That's what. Can he claim for a layoff compensation? My answer is no. He cannot claim for a layoff compensation. But in case of the contract of service, absolutely yes, he can claim for a, or she can claim for a layoff compensation. Questions?
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Yeah. So these are all terminologies, very, very important. Please concentrate. As a HR students, you should know all this terminology. That's what I do encourage the students to ask questions. So shall we go ahead? So what are the three conditions? That's what I was asking. So the questions. So can I'll ask somebody just to brief. Pranesh, are you there? Pranesh? Yeah, Pranesh, can you type below the three conditions what we discussed just now? How come you can type and you cannot hear? Whether this will happen? And in between anyone? Three conditions I said before claiming for a layoff compensation. What are the three conditions? Nag Prasad, are you there? Nag Prasad. Nag Prasad. Some network issue. Fine, fine. Vanessa, can you brief for the three conditions?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
So the three conditions are the person's name must be born on the muster rolls
Correct.
of the industrial establishment,
Correct.
and he must have completed at least a year, which is a continuous service. Like it should not be uninterrupted, and
Correct.
the workman should not be a budly or a casual workman.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
It should not be a badli or casualty. That's the three conditions need to be satisfied. That's it. So hope you understood. I think we look at Pranesh, but my mic is not working. Okay. So shall we go ahead? Now, what is the amount of compensation? How much compensation need to be provided? Can you read? Uh, can you read this sentence? Anyone? Anyone in the group?
The amount of compensation payable shall be equal to 50% of the basic wages and dearness allowance that would have been payable to him had he not been so laid off.
Exactly. See, the compensation, how we need to calculate the compensation. I hope you know the salary structure. So I don't want to get into the salary structure, but for your understanding, just one example I'll give. Suppose a workman is working, so his salary structure may be, so his like a basic wage. So we know that. So some of the regulatory requirement also says that so this must be the basic wages. Say like all ACT approved colleges says that including us, minimum basic wages need to be provided. So basic wages. So one particular employee is getting like a basic wages of 20,000. This is how it works. 20,000. On this like 20,000, so dearness allowance need to be added. Dearness allowance. Usually some organization depends on law doesn't say how much the dearness allowance should be paid. But there are some institution, rare institution, they'll provide the 100% or 50% of the dearness allowance. What I'll do, I'll write the 100% dearness allowance. So 100% dearness allowance sense on basic wages, 20,000 he is getting as a dearness allowance. Along with this dearness allowance, there may be some other allowance as well. Say there may be, this is what we used to get in a Mahe, say like variable allowance. Variable allowance. Let variable allowance is 10,000. Let. So just hypothetical 10,000. Now not only variable, now like so employee also may get the vehicle allowance, some allowance. Say let the vehicle allowance is 5,000. So this is what salary structure. I mean there may be some other things also. Forget about that. Now what is the total amount of the salary he was getting? 20,000 plus 20,000, 40,000, 50,000 and 55,000. 55,000. Now, while calculating the layoff, we cannot take into consideration this entire 55,000. What we should take? We should take just a basic wages and dearness allowance we should take. How much compensation should be paid? See, suppose if it is a case of daily wages, no problem, easily we can calculate. But there are some cases it is very difficult to calculate. Suppose if it is a monthly salary or the wages. So, or irrespective of the case, say what this says, I mean the layoff compensation, this particular section says at least equal to 50% of the basic wages and dearness allowance. Dearness allowance. Suppose an employee was laid off for 30 days for a full 1 month, now let for a 1 month he was getting 20,000 basic wages and 20,000 as a dearness allowance. At least like a 50% of this he need to get. So what is the 50%? So 50% is in sense total he was earning like 40,000. Now 50% of the 40,000, that's what the 20,000 is eligible to claim as a layoff compensation. But it will not happen almost all for 30 days. So it may happen for a few days. There are some organization what it will happen just maybe half day the layoff may happen, or there may be layoff may happen for just for 2 days. So accordingly we need to calculate the layoff compensation. So what law says? So at least 50% of the basic wages and dearness allowance should be paid as a the compensation, layoff compensation. Any questions? See here layoff legislation doesn't say what exactly the time duration, but some of the interpretation to the section says that at least there may be employee should have been laid off at least for 2 hours of his presence. 9 o'clock he was there at the workplace, and till 11 o'clock the employer unable to provide an employment. Now we can say that employee have been laid off. At least a minimum of 2 hours it must be there. Within 2 hours, in case the employer unable to provide an employment, now we can say that the employee was laid off, and for that part the compensation could be claimed. So sometimes what happened, employee may say, suppose suppose what is to happen, employee may appear before I mean present at the workplace at 9 o'clock, and the employer will say that no, there is no work till 1 o'clock. And the employer say that you come to the work at 2 o'clock. And at 2 o'clock they provide an employment. Now we can say that employee was laid off for half of the day, one half of the day. Now at 2 o'clock he present, and in case if he employer unable to provide an employment even after 2 o'clock till 5 o'clock, or now we can say that the employee was laid off for a full day. So this is how we need to calculate the laid off period and the layoff for the compensation. So 50% of the basic wages and dearness allowance. If you have any questions, quick. Any more questions? Nishat, do you have any questions? Or understood?
Understood, sir.
Okay, what you understood? What is the compensation part? How much compensation can be claimed?
Actually, it depends. Yeah, it can be claimed, sir. Usually depends on the organization. Dearness allowance is given, usually 50% of the wage.
No, no, no. No, yeah, fine. That's fine. What is the layoff compensation? How much the laid off employee can claim for a layoff compensation? What is the calculation
So 50%, sir,
of the?
of the wages that he was supposed to get.
You cannot take a word of wages. Wages it includes, I said, it includes whether can we take a variable allowance while calculating 50%?
No, sir.
Then what we should take? That's what important. What part of the wages we should take while calculating the layoff compensation? Suppose HRA, house rent allowance, whether house rent allowance must be included?
No, sir.
Then what must be included? What should be included? Just now I discussed what must be included. Anyone, anybody? What must be included?
The basic wages and dearness allowance.
Only the basic wages and dearness allowance should be included. All other categories of the wages must be excluded, everything. We can calculate the layoff compensation only on basic wages and dearness allowance. That's it. That's it. Now, what is the difficulty in that, Nishat? Very simple to understand.
Yes, sir.
Don't make it complicated. It is very, very simple to understand. The basic wages and the dearness allowance. Only layoff compensation should be calculated only on basic wages and dearness allowance. That's it. Next. The above rule is subject to the following limitations. Okay, this is important. So, anybody want to read? Nishat, can you read it?
If during any period of 12 months a workman is laid off for more than 45 days, no compensation shall be payable in respect of any period of the layoff after the expiry of the 45 days.
Can you interpret what you understood with that? This particular provision says, maximum workmen can be laid off for a 45 days. Maximum you can lay off a workman for a 45 days. 45 days. Question comes, what about after 45 days? I mean, this particular part says compensation can be payable to the workman only for a 45 days. I mean, the employer can lay off the employee only for a 45 days and not more than 45 days. Question comes, what can be done after 45 days, expiry of the 45 days? Now, there is a weapon in the hands of an employer. Suppose layoff period continues even after 45 days, the employer can retrench the employees. The employer can retrench the employees. What employer need to do? Employer need to do, suppose 45 days employer was unable to provide an employment, so it is a layoff. So after that, now employer can retrench the particular employee. Now question comes, while retrenching the employee, so retrenchment compensation need to be given. Retrenchment compensation need to be given. And I also said even layoff compensation also need to be given. Now retrenchment compensation should be calculated even for the 45 days. Answer is retrenchment compensation should be adjusted with this layoff compensation. Layoff compensation. It must be adjusted with the layoff compensation. So retrenchment compensation need to be given here. That will calculate, we'll see like while discussing like retrenchment part. So retrenchment compensation need to be given. So now I said after the 45 days, the employee say, so now I'll take an example here, the live example. So employee was worked for 10 years in an organization. After 10 years, what happened? One day there was a layoff. And this particular layoff was continued for 45 days, more than 45 days. Now, the employer, I said, employer can retrench the employee. Now, while retrenchment compensation not to be given, At the same time, in a previous discussion, I also said for this 45 days, even layoff compensation also need to be given. Now, while calculating the retrenchment compensation, so now like employer is already paid the, say for example, the already paid 40,000 as a layoff compensation. Now, while calculating the retrenchment compensation, it comes to almost like 80,000. Just it is a hypothetical 80,000. Now, this particular 40,000 already paid as a layoff compensation need to be adjusted with this 80,000. It means while retrenching the employee, the employer need to give only the 40,000 as a retrenchment compensation. This is what it means. So this particular provision says that maximum, so 45 days employee can be laid off, and in case if it crosses 45 days, the employer can retrench the particular employees. Any questions?
Sir, the 45 days will be continuous, right?
Yeah, it is continuous, yes. Maximum 45 days. It is not, it is a continuous 45 days. Continuously 45 days in case employer is unable to provide an employment, he can be retrenched. Continuous, exactly. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is what I said, the retrenchment can be done after expiry of the. Now, workman is not entitled to claim for compensation. So, this part we'll discuss in a later part. So, do you have any questions around under certain circumstance, workman cannot claim for a compensation, layoff compensation? Under what circumstance employer cannot claim for a layoff compensation? So, we'll discuss.